pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, please watch over us tonight as we do the city's business. Please watch over all of our families. Please watch over this wonderful country we live in. And please bless all of those who are affected by this weekend's violence. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Andrew. Roll call.
Coward.
Here.
Harville.
Here.
Elbert.
Here.
Venable.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Atkinson.
Here.
Young.
Here.
Yoder. Here.
Okay. We're all here. Welcome.
Full house.
Hearing of citizens' comments. Bethany, are you here? There you are.
Present.
It's good to see you. How you been?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a day or two.
Yeah. I'm just passing around just some little printouts of pictures and stuff. You know, they're not color oriented or anything. They're just, to look at so you don't have to look at me this whole time. And then just some commercial driving flyers and our lecture series, which I'll talk a little bit more about, but sometimes it's just nice to have some paper, so I'm still kind of a paper person. But my name is Bethany Pfeiffer. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the director for State Fair Community College at the Boonville campus, down at the historic Kemper campus by the YMCA and future Winslow Regional Library site. I've been the director since 2018, but the campus actually opened in 2012, so we just celebrated our 10-year anniversary a couple years ago, whatever year that was. Myself and I have one other full-time staff member. We've got 3 part-time staff, including an adult education instructor. I have 2 to 3 work-study students who come and go as I can have them around their class schedule. But we serve between 100 and 150 students. We are just now at the 100 enrollment benchmark. I just looked today before I left to come here. And then we also serve an additional, classroom of rotating adult ed students who are trying to complete their GED, also known as the HiSET, the high school equivalency. I've got about 10 local instructors, 6 to 8 out of this area who drive in to help offer. So we offer the Associate of Arts degree, the medical assisting degree, which includes the EKG, where you stick the little stickies on your chest. I like to do that to my dad. He has a hairy chest, and they're really fun to rip off. He's a great guinea pig. And also phlebotomy. I like to be a guinea pig, so I'm usually their first needle stick. So I welcome any of you, if you are not afraid of needles, come and be our medical assisting students guinea pigs so they can earn their phlebotomy credential. And then after those 2 semesters, our students complete the medical assisting certification. And you might actually interact with some of our graduates. We have some working at the urgent care and some in various doctor's offices in the community. So they typically room patients and do vitals and stuff like that. So yeah, we've been offering that program now for about 4 or 5 years, even before COVID. Excuse me. And then we offer prerequisite courses for our health science programs, so anatomy, physiology. We have a great, beautiful science lab with some mannequins and stuff. We offer general bio with lab, and then all the general education courses you think of: English composition, math, history, government, literature. And we offer many of these in a blended format. So we have a live in-seat instructor, and then we offer a Zoom option for students who either live too far away, they don't want to travel to the Boonville campus, or they just like to connect from home in their PJs. What's not to like about that? We have a few transfer agreements. We call them 2+2 agreements with Mizzou, CMU in Fayette, and UCM out of Warrensburg. We just started offering the Commercial Driving Academy this in January, not too long ago. And that is a 3-week program for in-truck classroom driving, and then they complete 40 hours of online coursework. So you can get your CDL Class A license within 3 weeks. Usually it's 4 weeks. A lot of people don't like to do that 40 hours of online coursework after doing 8 hours of driving a day. So usually we do the 40 hours online before, and then they complete the 3 weeks of truck driving, and then they sit for their credential. They can tack on the doubles and triples, the hazmat, and the tanker endorsement, but that's up to them if they want to do that for an additional charge. But otherwise, the program costs $5,200, and that covers the 3 weeks of training, the certification test, and the license fee. And all of that can be covered by an EDA grant. So very little out of pocket for the student if they live in Cooper County and then a bunch of different counties around us. So it's quite the deal if you know anybody who's looking to get their CDL or someone who's not sure about where they want to go with their career and want to make a change. We have a great partnership with the Kemper Military School Alumni Association, obviously, being in their beautiful building. And then we partner with a lot of other organizations, whether it's through sponsorships like the Lions Club, Boonville Heritage Days, the Boonslick Expo, and Employment and Education Expo. We offer quite a few community classes, computers for seniors, kids college. We recently started a lecture series that every Wednesday at 1:30 is a different topic. We're glad Kate is going to do our July 31st topic on city government. So a lot of the folks who attend these classes are older, but they just truly want to learn, and they enjoy just getting out of the house and learning something new. So a lot of our topics have been history related, but also just anything that people might be interested in learning. So you all are invited if you want to come and speak. We charge $5 and that goes to the speaker, but we also offer quite a few of these, sessions, speaker series, or lectures, that's what they should be called, on topics that we don't charge anything for. And it really is just to pay for the speaker's time. We don't take anything. I just like to make popcorn and have some snacks available for people. We offer our meeting spaces and classrooms up to organizations who need to have a larger space. So we worked with Kawasaki when they first came to town and helped them do a lot of their HR training because they physically did not have a location here. We've worked with CMCA quite a bit, the MU Extension Office. I'm just excited to have people using our space. It's really a big, beautiful building, and if I have classroom or office space available, I'm happy to let people use it. We obviously partner with a lot of the area high schools, New Franklin, Boonville, Bunston, Pilot Grove, Prairie Home, and then sometimes we get into Jamestown, Fayette. But we work with them to offer testing. A lot of times I'll sponsor snacks for their ACT days, and I'll go visit and meet with students just to help them prepare for college, whether it's state fair or not. I've helped quite a few students fill out like their financial aid application because it can be a complicated process. But I'm just happy, just as a Boonville native, I enjoy helping community members navigate this process. The college world, it can be complicated, and I've been doing this for a while, so I've usually seen most of it, but every once in a while I'll get a curveball. So I always look forward to those too, if you want to challenge me on something I don't know yet. And I always get asked, what can people do for us? I am always looking for help recruiting, so just sharing that we exist. I don't know how many times people said, I've lived in Boonville for this many years and did not know you guys were down there. I was like, we're down here, so come on down and visit. And I do think recruiting can happen just in the word of mouth, sharing with your family and friends. Not that formal. I don't tend to send out like postcards and mailers because usually you just get stuck in the junk mail. You all are invited to come visit our campus, and then just sharing that we're affordable. We use the A+ program. That's one of the most popular programs that our students utilize. And then we have great partnerships with Kemper Alumni, Boonville Women's Club, and the Cooper County Health Improvement Corporation. They all offer scholarships specifically to Boonville students. So if you know of any organization looking to give away money, we will help you find a student to give that to. And that is my spiel. Any questions or comments?
Just a quick question. How do people know about the community classes? Is there like a website or?
Yeah, I post them on our Facebook page, and then I also have an email list group that I've just been compiling. But my contact info should be somewhere on this page, or I have business cards that I can give you.
And then I think, is it the using fingerprinting, all that kind of stuff for the community as well?
Yep,
And the-
yep.
I didn't, okay.
Yeah, so that really helps out our local teachers, so they don't have to drive to Columbia, obviously. But yeah, anything from teaching, anybody within the school district, but childcare, daycare workers, anybody sitting for their nursing boards, anybody trying to get their license back. We see it all. And we help them even if they need to register. A lot of times the Columbia office won't help them with that. They're just not that small town community service. So we will literally do that with every aspect of what we offer.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else?
Anybody else?
Thanks,
Thank-
Bethany.
You're welcome.
Thank
I
you,
need to
Bethany.
Thank
sign
you.
this, right?
Well done.
Thank you.
Any other citizens' comments? Somebody's shaking their head.
Hi, everybody. I'm Samantha Coleman. My husband Chris and I have been taking down the historic cabin that was realized inside of the type.
Need to speak up.
Okay, my husband Chris and I have been taking down the historic cabin that was realized inside of the triplex at 818 6th Street. And with the current deadline of August 1st coming up, we wanted to get a little bit ahead of that because with the considerable rain delays that we've been experiencing, we were wondering if we could have an extension to September 1st. What questions do you have for me?
We'll have to save those for miscellaneous if there's any conversation, and it'll kind of be on this side of the table, and then we'll get back to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? You can put that on today.
You just at the miscellaneous, someone can bring it up if they want to.
Okay. All right. Approval of the minutes, July 1st, council minute. Any corrections?
I actually did have one.
I'm sorry?
I had one correction.
Okay.
Under item B, it said 60,000, but Mr. Vogler corrected it to 52,000.
Where is
Okay,
it?
yeah. Explain, sorry.
It's on page 5, but in theory, I said 60, so the minutes are correct.
But you acknowledged 52.
Yeah, we could just add that Mr. Vogler corrected it. That would be the appropriate change to the minutes.
Okay.
It's just under me.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, do we need a motion for
Nope.
that? I'm sorry?
No.
No. Okay, any other corrections? All right, then they will stand as corrected. Thank you. Consent items. Consider pay request number 1 for $124,986.42 to Capital Paving for roadway improvements, 2024. Any questions?
We can do these at the same time, too.
Okay, item B, consider change order number 1 for $52,429.90 to Capital Paving for 2024 roadway improvements. Any comments or questions?
Mayor, I make a motion we approve these consent items.
I actually had one question, if you don't mind.
No, there needs to be a motion
We
on
need
the
to
floor.
do
You
the
need a
motion
second.
first. I'll second the motion to
Okay,
approve.
sorry.
Okay, go ahead. Now you can go ahead.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
In the original estimate, there was a $40,000 contingency. I'm just wondering, can the contingency go to the change order?
Anybody got an
I'm
answer?
deferring to Scott.
Scott?
I'm reviewing.
Oh, right here.
It's line item 21, Scott, on page 7.
You are
Can't hear you, Scott.
You'll have to come up to the microphone.
Yes, there is a $40,000 contingency built into the project. We normally hold that towards the end of the project, and then we do a change order, final quantity change order with that included in it. But if you so choose, you want me to deduct that right now, I can do that as well. Either way. But you will get the credit,
Okay, thank you.
all right?
So you just leave it alone?
I would recommend you just leave it alone right
Okay.
now.
All right. Any other questions?
I know this was regarding the change in the underlay, correct? Can you just give
Subgrade
just a quick summary?
stabilization.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The subgrade stabilization,
Subgrade stabilization, that's great.
yes.
I did have one more question for you.
Sure.
Last meeting, did you say you wanted to start the work July 15th, which is today?
The contractor wanted to start the work, but with the rain delays, that they are pushing it off to next week.
Okay, that was all I had.
They're finishing up a previous project they have on the books.
Anything else? Got a motion? Got a second? Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
Yes.
Presentation of accounts and claims. Item A is appropriations.
ordinance appropriating money. Be it ordained by the council of the city of Boonville as follows. Section 1, for the purpose of paying salaries and various accounts against the city of Boonville which have been allowed by the council at the regular meeting thereof on July 15, 2024, the sum of $523,551.96. General fund, $338,207.48. Sanitation, $44,522.35. CIP tax, $63,576.41. Waterworks, $31,571.84. Capital projects, $0.00. Wastewater, $29,128.54. Tourism, $8,277.16. Gaming, $7,624.22. Parks Water, $643.96. Kemper sales tax, $0.00. Economic Development Projects, $0.00. Section 2, the accountant is hereby authorized and instructed to draw checks on the respective city bank accounts in favor of the persons whose salaries and accounts have been allowed as above, amounting to $523,551.96, being the total amount of money being appropriated. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage. First reading, July 15, 2024. Read for the second time this July 15, 2024, since a copy was made available prior to the meeting.
Second reading title only.
Ordinance appropriating money.
Mayor, I move that we approve this ordinance.
Okay,
I'll second it.
okay. Got a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
Kate, the general fund is higher than normal. What's going on with that number?
This includes a payroll with the July 4th holiday, a FICA and a Medicare, so it's really lumped into all of the payroll plus a health insurance check in there. And then the other thing is just, this payroll is one of the big ones now with like all the pool employees and the part-time. So it accounted for about 130,000 of it, which brings it back down.
To normal.
And there was a $54,000 Ameren bill also that came out of this one.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder.
Yes.
No unfinished business. We'll move on to new business. Item A, consider resolution R 2024-10 intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant.
A resolution of the City of Boonville, Missouri stating intent to seek funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program and authorizing the mayor to pursue activities in an attempt to secure funding. Whereas Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 does state as its primary objective the development of vital urban communities by providing decent housing, suitable living environment, and expanding opportunities principally for persons of low and moderate income. Whereas Title I does offer to communities the opportunity of monetary assistance in accomplishing its stated primary objectives. Whereas the Missouri Department of Economic Development is designated to award community development block grant funding under Title I, and whereas the city does have areas of need which may be addressed through the Community Development Block Grant Program. Therefore, be it resolved by the City of Boonville, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the City of Boonville desires to participate with the Missouri Department of Economic Development in the improvement of our community under the activities authorized pursuant to Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. Section 2, that the Mayor of Boonville, Missouri hereby is authorized to execute and attest said agreement on behalf of the City of Boonville. Section 3, that the applicant will dedicate $5,700,000 of local cash funds from the Missouri Department of Economic Development, Community Development Block Grant Community Facilities to be used for this project. Passed 15th day of July, 2024, by the City Council of Boonville, Missouri.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the resolution.
All right, thank you. Second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Discussion? Thoughts?
Can we have a summary exactly of what this is going to cover? Do we have goals behind this, and how is the
Yeah.
5.7 allocated in or applied for?
Yeah, the 5.7 is for the expansion in academic hall and for childcare facilities, which was part of the 2018 sales tax that was passed. One of the things that we told the citizens that we were going to do. And so I think we tried this under the COVID CDBG funding. I went down an EDA rabbit hole that did not work, and so we had the public meeting at the last meeting for this same project. We're trying to secure $500,000 of the CDBG to help plug the increase from inflation. And we have actually already passed this resolution, but between the time we passed it and this one, CDBG now requires you to put the amount of money you're putting in to the resolution. So that's the only change. But yeah, this covers the expansion and the renovation of academic hall for childcare facilities.
So bottom line, this resolution, when passed, will, in theory, help us get additional funds for the
Correct.
project, which we've already been collecting
Correct.
taxes for.
And that 5.7 number is a big number, but that's what we've been banking since we've passed the tax
Great.
for the 5 years. So I'm trying to plug some of our hole that we have.
Fair enough, thank you.
Any other questions?
So we have money in reserves?
Yeah, we're sitting on like 4.5 or 5 million, so, but we're gonna spend some of it on the Johnson Fieldhouse project, which will come in the next coming months, because that's the other component. For people who weren't around the table in 2018, there was basically 3 components to the sales tax. It was approximately $500,000 to the library parking lot, $1 million to Johnson Fieldhouse, and then the expansion of academic hall and renovation, which we had budgeted at 4.7, I think, or 4.2.
Yeah, 4.2.
And so the total package at that time was 4.2, 5.2, about 6 in total, but the academic hall project has increased since 2018.
Sure. Thank you.
And just a reminder that this sales tax does sunset in December, and it's not my recommendation to renew it. So unless as a council you guys want to renew it, that's your choice, but I wouldn't be my recommendation.
Okay, great, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder.
Yes.
Consider Martin Metal LLC building purchase for health building construction.
Paul is here too, and he can answer any questions, but for people who've been around the table, you know that the health building has been on the blue sky list, and there's some real issues in their temporary structure. There's no plumbing, there's holes in the roof, they're in the old wastewater treatment plant. I'd make sure it was water, wastewater, but it's wastewater. And then we kind of started planning for a new building. And then that's at the time that Glenn Bishop retired. And so we put them under the Parks Department. And in conversation with Paul, we thought before we do anything, let's give it a year or so and see if the arrangement works of fitting under the Parks Department. Paul feels like it's been beneficial and that it's worked out okay. We've been able to utilize sort of a larger crew on bigger projects, whether it's on health side or park side. Sometimes they just all go tackle something together. So we're ready to move forward. The other advantage, and chime in if I'm wrong, is that now we're really just basically building a giant garage. So the other previous plan, where if you look on the capital project sheet, it was 250, but that was bathrooms and office space and a much different building. Now is just a garage within some bays. So the new price is that figure, and I think we can fit it in this year.
Kate, where will that be located?
It's on, I'll let Paul talk about it because it's at the Parks office now. So that's what we're gonna move. We're gonna build it up at the Parks office, since they're all in one department.
It's basically gonna be a 40 by 60 shed. If you know where our Parks office is now, we have a shop, a 40 by 60 shop to the west of that, and it's gonna be directly behind that shop, sitting identical to that shop right behind it.
Out by the city building?
Yeah, right by the pool and everything
Yes.
right there. So there's plenty of room there. They'll have all the facilities that we have there, and we can always, figure later on, we can always add, but if you've ever been down to the shop they have now, like say, the roof leaks, it rains, they have to cover everything up with tarps to keep it dry. They have no facilities. And now, we used to have a porta pot. Well, the company come and took the porta pot away because they said they couldn't afford to come and service it once a week. So now we don't even have that, so they have to take their inmates back to our office every day if somebody has to use the restroom facilities, so it's an inconvenience. So, and they've been under us, they work under us, so they might as well be all in one location.
Yeah, I think big kudos to Kate and everybody
Yeah.
involved to get this done. It's been a long time coming to
Oh,
take care
I
of equipment
agree.
and employees.
Yeah, I agree, it's, yeah.
What's the future of the old crusty, nasty, ugly
I would say
building?
just use it as a storage if you want, it's about the only thing it's good for, really. Just storage, they use the area as storage, so.
Think we got enough dynamite to take care of it?
We do, yes,
Well, that's a nasty piece of business.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anybody have any other questions? Or?
That's good that you're gonna move it
I
out
think it's a
there.
good thing, and like I said, I told them, it's gonna be a shed for now, but they can always, you can add to it later, you can insulate, heat, whatever later on, if we wanna do that later in the years, but for right now, we need to get them into a dry building somewhere where they're closer and they can actually work out of, so.
And they've got access to facilities
Yep,
out
they're
there,
right,
so
yep.
that's good.
Yep, not even 100 feet to the restroom, so.
Good move.
Could you just summarize again specifically what the building is for? Just
The
summarize.
building, what it's for, it's
Yeah,
for.
the new, like this new one.
Oh, yeah, it's for the storage and maintenance facility for they call it the health department. I don't know why they call it health department. They really don't have to do anything with health, but they maintain all of our right-of-way areas, and they do all the code enforcement areas that we take care of in town. So I have two guys that take care of that. So they have about six mowers and weed eaters and trailers and trucks and various other equipment that they have to store somewhere.
And
right
those are
now
city employees.
And right now, we're storing it in a building with the roof leaks, so we have to cover it up with tarps.
Did you get a quote on fixing the roof that you have now?
Well, you don't want to put a lot of money into a roof, fixing a roof that you have no facilities. You can't get water and sewer to the building, so why would you want to spend between 20 to 40,000 putting a roof on a building that you have no water and sewer at?
Fair.
And we did look at the roof, and I think people, we couldn't find anyone who would even, I think if I remember, that was our first conversation, and all the roofers were like,
It just wouldn't make any sense. I mean, that was the whole reason the building, they should, be honest, they should have never went into the building to begin with. It was abandoned. That's why the wastewater plant moved out of it, because of the facilities. So they should have never went into it, but that's past. We can't do anything about that. We're trying to move forward, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a timeline on this?
So this, the nice thing is about this one is this includes them putting the building up, which we would be capable of doing, but it just trying to fit it into our workflow. I think for the price, we're better off to let them do the work. So the street department though is gonna go ahead and get the pad ready for the building, and I think that's next on their list. So we'll go ahead and sign on, and then assuming you guys approve it tonight, then we'll sign this quote and get on the list.
Cool, thank you.
But we do need a motion for the purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I don't know who Martin Metals is. Is there any kind
Can't
of...
hear you.
I said, I don't know who Martin Metals is. Is there any kind of warranty, I mean,
We've used Martin Metal on the airport, I think, the shed out there, and the golf course was Martin Metal. So this is like our third or fourth Martin Metal building that we've done with them.
so good
They're kind of-
experiences so far?
Oh, yeah, very good.
They built a building for me. It was very good. No problems, no issues.
Got it.
My house is built from materials from them. So yeah.
Good question. Any other questions? Got a motion and a second? Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Albert,
Yes.
Venable,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder.
Yes.
Approved. Reports of standing committees. Police board meeting.
Canceled due to lack of quorum.
Have you been practicing that speech? Is that how that works? Jeez. We probably ought to talk to the person that's in charge of appointing those. Reports of city officials. Anybody want to speak up?
You're first on the list.
I've got a committee appointment, which is on page, what?
It's like page 18.
Wow, that's 18. Well, I found page 20, but I don't find it. Here we go. Chrissy Stemmons to the Boonville Housing Authority Board. I have a motion to approve.
Mayor, make a motion, we approve this appointment.
Thank you. Got a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's done. My duty is complete. City Administrator.
Just a couple things. We got the invitation for the CT Vivian statue, so we placed that at your spot, so mark your calendars for that. And then also at your place is an update on the CIP projects that we planned for when we did our budget back in January and February. I just had department heads and/or myself or Teresa, whoever it was, kind of just give a brief, whether it's done, not being done. If you want more details, we're happy to provide them. Just a quick update on a few of the bigger items. On Thursday, we're opening the RFI for the lead service line. So that will be we'll kind of see where we're at on that number. And we'll probably have a recommendation by the first August meeting. Yep, that's our plan. The next one down, and you'll notice we budgeted the 700,000, but because we met our goal, it should be less than that, which is good. The water, street, and sewer, just a quick update on that one. Scott and Jeff and I are gonna meet to revisit all the plans and reacquaint ourselves since we looked at them in January and February. And then they're gonna talk about it at the street and alley board and kind of make a recommendation to you guys as to what they think might be the best pathway forward with the funding available. So they meet at the end of this month, so maybe at the first meeting of August or maybe the next one.
Street and alley's gonna be on the 30th, so.
Okay, so it'll be the second meeting in August.
Will this budget cover?
Well, if you remember when we did the budget, I carved every cent I could to get as far as I could.
That's why I'm asking.
But I think there just needs to be sort of one, look and see what happens on the lead service line, although I have all that coming out of water right now, and just a reevaluation on maybe the best direction to go and how much we want to spend this year and how much next year and a plan forward. So that's what I could probably make happen.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if there's any others really I wanted to mention. Just a quick note on what we've been calling the backbone software. We actually were put on the accelerated track. So Teresa, myself, Amber, Kim, and the utility billing staff, Amy and Abby have been busy giving them lots of information. And so we should be live on the new system in November. So that is moving forward. And then the last thing I just wanted to note on page, what will be 3, I have unallocated uses. Tim put in a note about that we received the fire grant for the SCBA units. That was $180,000 roughly. We get a 50-50 match on that, so $90,000 is our match. And that bill came in today, so we will pay that at the next council meeting. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions about these, I'm happy to answer them, or you can direct them to the appropriate department head.
Any comments from the department heads?
You want to mention the Katy Bridge application?
Didn't hear you.
We're applying. We're still applying, and that's not in here, but that'll be next fiscal year anyways, probably, so.
Okay, anything else, Kate?
Nope, that's all I have.
All right. Anything from the council?
Is this the miscellaneous?
It is Amber, you skipped Amber.
Yes, Amber.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Miscellaneous.
Okay, I had one thing for miscellaneous. I just wanted to bring up our discussion last meeting in miscellaneous pertaining to the change order that we actually talked about today for the roadway improvements 2024. And my question that I had asked, I was initially asking like, how much would the change of order cost? I do think that it should have been on the agenda last week, especially because like we did have a number for it. I think rather than it being unofficial, it should have been official on the agenda. And 52,000, maybe 9% of the original estimate, but that's still a lot of money. And that was just another point I wanted to make. And lastly, I know what a change of order is, and the intent behind my question originally of does this cost more money is based on me desiring to be fiscally responsible. So I just wanted to let that be known, and that is all.
Any questions from anybody?
Should we have a quick discussion real quick about the building on, or the house on 6th Street that they brought up? So.
That'd be fine.
So they, correct me if I'm wrong, it was, they're asking for September 1 as opposed to August 1. So I've been by there and it looks like they're making quite a bit of progress given the weather and stuff we've had. So I personally think that's an okay ask. I'm okay with the September 1. But
Are you guys confident in a September 1 date?
As long as the weather cooperates.
Yeah.
I was a swimmer, I used my machine, and it was too muddy. So
Yeah.
digging holes.
Okay. I agree, there's been progress. I would support extending to September 1. Let's try to make it September 1. I know no one can control the weather, but I know it's a lot of work.
I just want to speak where you guys did
Yeah.
hear me. The main thing was I've been very strategic. The brick part is the most dangerous.
Yes.
Exactly.
You had to.
I was standing in the bucket. When I removed the top joists, I stood on that wall, and the wall was just moving like that. So I put my bucket up there, excuse me, stood in the bucket in case it did come down. I wasn't going to be underneath it. But with all this rain, I couldn't. Anyway.
That looked dangerous. That looked dangerous.
It was. It was. The other aspect is, as long as it doesn't rain, I've been very particular with how I took it apart to preserve the logs, because once rain gets to those, they'll
Need to
deteriorate
speak
rap,
up.
they'll deteriorate rapidly. So that's what I was kind of, it's a moot point to do this and get everything wet.
So haven't you owned the house for like 10 years?
Yeah.
She's talking about the back wall. So how big is the log structure?
It's a 24 by 30. It was a two-room cabin. Mhm.
That's what.
I honestly just am not seeing how you're gonna get it done by September 1st if it hasn't been done in 10 years, honestly.
Well, it was rented. It was rented, and then just a couple of years ago, I had some horrible tenants that trashed it, and so I reviewed it 2 summers ago, what it was going to cost to fix it up versus tear it down. That's when I started peeling the siding off, found the cabin, and said, okay, I'm going to take this down, and started on it in February.
I understand. I still stand by my statement.
So I'm willing to propose do we need to get a resolution, an agreement?
You can just tell me. I mean, we'll just change it in the
Okay, so
system.
I will propose,
If everybody, I mean, if the majority of
all
us
right,
agree.
so I will propose
I-
whatever it is, a resolution or a statement or whatever it is, that I will propose an extension to September 1st, knowing this is our second extension. We want to get it cleaned up. I know you want to get it cleaned up. So I'm more than willing to extend it to September 1st. I would not like to do it beyond that.
Right.
Andrew, I'm actually gonna step back. Just make a motion. I think.
Okay, I would
so
like
it'll
to
be in
make
the
a
records.
motion that we extend this deadline to September 1st on the 818 6th Street property for completion due to weather delays.
I second that.
Okay, got a motion, you got a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, and as much as I'd really like to agree with Heather on this one, every time I drove by that place, somebody's been working on it. And I mean, like, I've drove by it a lot. So, yeah, I see where Heather's coming from. I think September 1st is a dead stop if we do this. So, I mean, I'll vote for September 1st, but I will not vote for another extension. So.
All right.
Need a roll call.
Roll call.
Coward,
Yes.
Harville,
Yes.
Elbert,
No.
Hannibal,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Atkinson,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Yoder,
No.
Motion passes. Any other business to be brought up?
Yes. I would like to know, are we gonna do anything about Santa Fe Trail? Can we do anything like put up speed bumps or something just to show those people out there that live on Santa Fe Trail that, you know, we're at least trying to do something instead of doing nothing?
I'll let Jeff talk to this issue, but frankly, our data does not show that speeding is an issue there. So, when they put, yeah, come on up, because I know you talked about the speed, you put the speed trailer and it records data.
Yeah, I mean, just what you just said. I mean, there's not in my opinion, there's not a problem there.
You what? I didn't hear you.
I don't think there's a problem there myself. That's the way I feel about it. And no, I don't think speed bumps is definitely the answer to it.
Well, I thought we can just put temporary speed bumps up there to show them that we at least trying to do something. We hear what you're saying.
Well,
We're
like,
listening
Randy,
to
are you patrolling it even more or not? You don't, it still has people?
That's a heavily traveled road anyway.
So, we're not gonna do anything then?
No, I mean, we went to the street and board meeting on that as well, and they voted not to do anything by looking again at the stats that we had off things showing we wasn't speeding.
I just think.
Like 98.5% or something like that was what the speed limit was, and they're saying that they're speeding at these times where we're saying they're not. So, I mean, I just think they think it's going faster than it is, I guess.
What?
They must just think they're going faster than they actually are, is what I think what's happening.
For whom is this a problem?
Do I?
For whom is this a problem?
Well, the people from Santa Fe, you know, they did the
The people that live on the
signatures.
street?
Yes, the people that live on that street.
But I mean, there's no you can't really put a temporary speed bump in
No.
either, so.
I thought they make temporary speed bumps, you know what I mean?
I don't know if
They
they
can
do or
go
not, but we'd have to
And
go
if
out
they
and buy
do,
them.
we
We don't
don't
have
own
any of them.
as
We don't
maybe a
own
better
them.
phrase, like
I
we
was
don't
thinking,
have them.
thinking out of the box, brainstorming, something that we could do for those people out
Yeah.
there.
Well, again,
It's not
patrolling
doing
it to me
nothing.
is the answer to it. It's
What?
just to have a patrolman out there and maybe write a few tickets or something, maybe settle it. It's probably the same people doing it all the time, maybe, I don't know. I mean, we have this problem throughout the whole town, Barry. It's just not on Santa Fe Trail. There's people speeding all over the place.
On 11th Street too, that people could run down the highway, it
Yeah.
says 30 and they doing 40.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
And,
everywhere
I
in
mean-
town, it's like that, really. Lots of places. not
But our
just Santa
police
Fe.
officers are down and, you know, I mean, we need help with police officers. We can't be in every place at every time, everywhere. You know, I just think we should be doing something to slow them down instead of doing nothing.
Well, like I said, we took the street and board, and I'm a firm believer that's not the right idea.
Well, what do you think is the right idea?
I think
Nothing?
What I
we're,
just said. yeah.
Nothing.
I think, Barry, we were just saying that when we put the speed trailer out there, like 98% of the cars were 35 miles or less. So there's not a speeding problem out there. There's 2% or 5% of cars that are speeding. That is an extraordinary amount compared to any other part of town. And that it does not warrant any additional work other than additional patrolling and utilizing that. And they also patrol 11th Street, to your point. I'm sure you've all seen the police cars there on 11th.
We got a problem over Morgan Street too, but it's every once in a while.
Well, that's what this is,
High
Santa Fe
Street,
once in a while as
they're,
well.
I mean, it's all over town.
Yeah, Logan's Lake. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And me and the dogs are getting slower, so.
I can add more. The assistant chief and another patrol unit were out there. Assistant chief doesn't even drive a patrol vehicle. It looks like a patrol vehicle. He was sitting in the driveway, and he has what they call LiDAR, which is a radar. They did 106 vehicles that day they was there, and the fastest one they had was 39, but all the rest were like 31, 32, 25, 27. They gave me a whole list. So one was going 39, and there is a leadway you have to give forecourt to,
So that's 1%?
even if it is 1%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're out there all the time, and if they're speeding, they will write a ticket, but they just are not catching them at the times they're there.
Right.
Jeff, one thing, yeah, can we, I know you and I talked before, can we still look at doing lines? I know I've had several people mention about
Yeah,
painting
we're
the
gonna be doing
roadway.
some painting. We're not gonna go all the way up to Santa Fe. There is sections of that road we will do.
Okay.
That we do, always do, but it'll be the same thing we do every year.
Okay, so like where the markings you can see somewhat vague will be repainted at some point?
At where we're at?
Like you can kind of see a dim line that'll be repainted at some point?
Yeah, on the places that have been painted, will be painted again.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
they'll be painted this year. He's been painting some parts.
Yeah,
of
I've
it.
seen like the stop sign areas
Yeah,
and things
yeah.
like that, so. Okay.
Okay?
I had one other miscellaneous. The house on 11th, so is that us that tore that down, or was that the property owner?
We
Okay.
tore it down.
We did? Okay. I was gonna say, that's some expensive machinery. Is that our
That is
excavator?
ours. Yep.
I wanna borrow that. Can I bring that over to my house?
So I was gonna bring up on that fact, those guys, I went by there several times that day, they were tearing it down, and those guys got in there quick and made quick work of it, so good job to them, so.
All right, what other business we got?
I got one.
Go.
If a house is condemned, can somebody live in it?
So of the various attorneys we've had,
Yes.
we've had some attorneys who say that we don't have the authority to condemn houses.
Oh.
So, on instances where we take renter complaints, which happens, again, I can ask our new attorney what his opinion is, but our previous attorney said that we didn't have the authority to do that.
Well, I got a complaint on a house on 7th Street Terrace. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
All right, what was your question again?
Can you live in a condemned house?
We don't condemn the houses currently because we don't have the authority.
So the house is actually not condemned?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm not saying that it's necessarily fit for living, I'm just saying, and we don't do rental inspections or anything like that, as you guys know, so I don't know what's on the inside, we are only know what's happening on the outside.
What's your thought?
I guess I don't know all the facts about the house, but
All right,
there's a problem, and I think Kate's aware. Okay.
All right, so the house has been condemned or not condemned?
I was told it was condemned, and there's people living in it.
But
And then
it
there's a
hasn't-
trailer outside with a tarp over it and stuff like that. But if we don't condemn houses, it's not,
It may have, if it's the house that I'm thinking of, I think it's been on our property maintenance list, but not on the dangerous building list. So remember, we had property maintenance that went out.
so it has to be a dangerous building before.
Correct.
No one can live in it.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And even then, someone could live in it, but the owner, whether the person owned the house, they would have to be out by the time you
Well,
took it down.
that doesn't make sense. Try that again.
Well, I'm saying, like, even if as a council, you guys decided it's a dangerous building, the person isn't not allowed to live in that house. That's outside our scope of authority. But in 30 days, you would come to tear it down, so hopefully they would move out, or that would be within your authority.
When they have
That's
the machinery, they should be out.
typically why we don't end up going after places that people are living in for two reasons. One, if that's all they can afford or all they're able to live into, then, you don't want to make people homeless.
Okay.
Maybe something is better than nothing in some instances, but also it's just a little bit outside of our scope. But I can revisit with our new attorney and he may have a different opinion.
So you'll discuss that with?
Yeah, I'll ask Brad about what
Okay,
he thinks
thank you.
where our
That's good.
authority lies.
Okay, thank you.
Wow. Okay. Good question. Anything else? Is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye, aye.